Hi, my name is Jake Weath, and today I want to talk about the movie Living on $1. The movie was released January 1st, 2015 by the production company Optimist. I wanted to watch this movie because it is set in Guatemala, which is a country that I chose for my world history project. It goes into the lives of the average Guatemalan and shows how hard it is to live in this region. This poverty in Guatemala is mentioned and highlighted in my world history website. The directors of this film are Chris Temple, Zach Ingrasky, Sean Leonard, and Ryan Christopherson. They are also the main characters in this documentary. These guys also produced the movie alongside David Doss, Jeff Klein, and Michael Lang. Living on $1 is a documentary film that follows 4 American students who go to Guatemala to experience the poverty and life of living on $1 a day. They make their experience as realistic as they can and document their day-to-day, what they endure, and the people they meet. Our 4 students, Chris, Zach, Sean, and Ryan, join this rural village in Guatemala where they make friends with the local native Mayans, interviewing them daily, trying to understand how they live in poverty and sharing their stories along the way. The perspective for this film is one from an American putting themselves in the shoes of an impoverished person in Guatemala. The fact that they are engaging in a cultural shift shows their biased views and ideas and are presented throughout the film. They arrived to Guatemala with $224, a dollar for each person for 52 days. Instead of just getting $1 a day, they randomly pull a number to see how much they get for the day to reflect the inconsistency of pay and work in the area. Some days they pull a 0 and make no money for the day. Other times they'll pull a 9 and get lucky. While they're there, they also work, growing radishes to hopefully harvest before their 56 days. They learn about the local children, how some go to school and others must stay home and work, either because their parents can't afford school or they are in need at home. This has caused many people in poverty to give up on any dreams and goals that they may have. The 4 guys struggle constantly throughout the experiment, even getting sick with the parasite that they couldn't afford the medicine for. They learn how to budget throughout all of this and need to know what necessities to buy. One scene that stood out to me was when one of the filmmakers makes a comment of how this experiment is easy. This angers one of the other makers due to the fact that, yeah, it may be simple, but it's far from easy, and these people had to stop following dreams that they had because of the poverty they are in. It is a trap in an endless cycle that they are stuck in and is almost impossible to get out of. Some knowledge I gained from this film was about the banking system and the loans in Guatemala, specifically the steps it takes for someone who lives in poverty to get a loan. The big bank that the group first goes to requires a bunch of information that costs money to get, while the other bank that they go to, which is called Grameen, only requires an ID and a commitment to opening a long-term savings account. Grameen is made to help improve the lives of the poorest of the poor. It is what many people use in the area to get small business loans for the work they do or for any kind of emergencies that they have. This movie is great for educating people on how it feels with the day-to-day of living in poverty. Some guided questions that I would give to people after watching the movie are: how many people in the world survive on $1 a day? Is it surprising to you? Well, just so you know, 1.1 billion out of 7 billion people in the world live off $1 a day. That's 1 out of 7 people, which is totally surprising and deserves our attention as well as the attention of global leaders to help. Another question is, what happens to children whose families can't afford school? Well, as I said earlier, it's difficult for children to be in school due to the cost of attendance and the need of labor for the family. Growing up without an education limits a person's ability to get out of poverty. The last guided question I would offer is, how did this experience change the perspectives of the 4 filmmakers? Well, at the end of the film, 2 of the filmmakers talk to each other. They talk about how hard it is to see what they've seen and feel like there's nothing they can do to help. They make a point to say that there is no one answer as to what we can do as individuals. They focus on the idea of partial solutions. Fixing poverty requires work on many different scales. There's no one blanket action that will fix it all. I highly recommend checking this movie out. It's not too long of a watch and provides a great perspective about life and culture in Guatemala. Check out the link to the movie in the description below and let me know in the comments what you think. Thanks for listening to me speak and have a great day.